When we think of sharks, the first thing that comes to our minds is probably the monstrous beast in Spielberg's Jaws. But don't worry, this video's protagonist is much sweeter and kinder. The thresher shark has big black eyes, a small mouth, and an extremely long tail that it uses to whip its prey into a daze. And the island of Malapascua in the Philippines is one of the few places in the world where you can see thresher sharks on a regular basis. We stayed there for 5 days. Every morning, we met at 4:50 for roll call before taking to the water at 5.
Okay, so guys, I call your name, so say yes. The first group. Shirley?
Yes?
Andrew? Lucas?
Yes.
Ben? Yes. Mule?
Yes.
The reason for the early starts was that thresher sharks live in the deep ocean and only come close to the shore to feed in the early morning or late afternoon because their large eyes are very sensitive to light.
Okay, let's go. Let's rock. Rock and roll.
A small boat picked us up from the beach each morning, and then we'd transfer to a bigger one. It was a 40-minute trip that gave us time to watch the sky turn from pitch dark to early dawn. Our destination was Malapascua, one of the most famous dive sites for thresher spotting. When we got close, JN, our dive master, would give us a briefing about the spot.
Most of our dive, we're diving on the wall. Yeah. In the wall area, we stay around 30 meters deep. That's our maximum depth. 30 meters, wall, sloping, there's 30 meters, and then they have a concrete barrier. Yeah? And concrete barrier, everybody go down, straight to the line, and then hold, kneeling down. Very easy. Looks like watching cinema. Yeah, stay there, waiting for the shark coming. Yeah.
In the last 30 minutes, we'd start getting ready, putting on our wetsuits and checking our equipment. Then it was time to go. As we got deeper, the light got dimmer and the water got colder. The stations were about 30 meters deep, but usually when we got there, they were all taken already. It was the first time we'd experienced rush hour in the ocean. We had to be really careful not to kick another diver and not to be kicked ourselves. Finally, we got to a station that was still available. And all we had to do next was wait, staring into the dark void of the deep ocean, trying to spot any trace of a long tail. When waiting got boring though, we'd watch Nemo and his family right in front of us, or any other fish that happened to be passing by. Selfies were also a fun distraction. That was until all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it came. Even though threshers aren't usually aggressive, it was still startling to see a 2-meter-long creature suddenly appear in the hollow and cold depth of the ocean. But because it was typhoon season, the visibility was poor, so most of the time we could only see vague shadows passing us by, unless a thresher got really close. At the end of every encounter, we'd watch as that long tail vanished again into the same void it came from. Thresher spotting was all about luck. The other day, a guy told us that he didn't see a thing all morning, and he asked if we could share our footage with him. It really felt like some kind of privilege. People on our boat were happy for us.
We are doing very good.
And we couldn't wait to show them what we got on our camera at that time. Jayan told us that there could be up to 30 boats at Monat Shoal on any given morning, which meant there were probably 300 divers down there at the stations. The rush hour may not have been the most pleasant experience we'd had on our diving trips, but Jayan said that tourism actually did more good than bad. He explained that in the past, 70% of the island's people worked in the fishing industry, and the other 30 lived off tourism. It was a time when overexploitation was a huge problem. And even on our trip, we could still see large areas of barren land caused by overfishing. Fishing dynamite kills everything around it, Jayan told us, including corals. But things are the other way around now. It's 30% in fishing versus 70% in tourism. And elements of threshers seem to be everywhere on the island. We visited a local workshop that makes thresher-themed wooden crafts. They're sold in shops and on the street. And thresher necklaces are sold in dive shops. And even the kids there make money by taking tourists to the market to buy coconuts. So it looks like tourism is not only protecting the environment on Malapascua, it's also making life better for everyone, above the water and below it.
Oh, I can't stop thinking about all of these feelings and all of these routes. I can't stop thinking about